Hey guys, it's Domino2810 and welcome back to the Domino2810 show. So, everything's been getting a little crazy as of late, especially with what's going on in Minnesota. I've done some digging. I got a couple things I wanted to show you today in regards to this escalation that just makes no sense to me and why I don't understand the left and how they're handling their themselves with these ICE protests and attacking and threatening to kill and get rid of anybody who opposes them. I actually do know. I do know why, and I'm going to show you why. Because things like this come across, and it's what really pushes the narrative. All right, so we got our boy Tim Walz. Can you imagine? This guy was going to be the vice president of America. Listen to what he says.
Federal government is raining down upon our communities. 2,000 to 3,000 armed agents of the federal government have been deployed to Minnesota. Armed, masked, undertrained ICE agents are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live.
So they're just all undertrained, huh? They're all undertrained, Mr. Walz. Just like the one ICE agent that got struck by Renee Good's car, and he was a 10 years in the service, but he's, undertrained. What is your definition of training, Mr. Walz? You know what is undertrained? These paid protesters to go out into their communities and try to prevent ICE from doing their job. It reminds me, actually, I think about it this way, is like, I can imagine somebody just going after a DoorDasher. It's like, hey, just like stopping them. Hey, no, you can't deliver that food. You can't deliver that food. How dare you? It's like, you wouldn't prevent anybody else from doing their job. Why are you stopping law enforcement from doing their job? All right, so one of the next things that I wanted to show is exactly this type of rhetoric that promotes this. It normalizes it. What do we got? We got F-ICE. This is an ICE vehicle. This is a federal agent's car. They were looting everything out of the car, which had search warrants and arrest warrants for illegal immigrants that shouldn't have even been here to begin with. On the door, it says, let's see, it says, hang Kristi Noem. Hang Kristi Noem. Only good agent is a dead one. F-ICE. Looks like they siphoned the gas out of there. They slashed the tires. Lots of vandalism. I don't know about you, but destruction of federal property, that's a crime. Breaking in and looting the vehicle is also a crime. Tons of people there. Uncalled for. Another one that I want to show is what the Chicago police chief had to say in regards to this whole debacle involving Renee Good. And you know that Chicago is heavily like deep blue, right? It's super Democrat. But listen to what this guy has to say.
Let me make this clear. Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger. Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force. And they can use deadly force in response to stop you.
I'm going to stop it right there. That's 100% true. That's all that really needs to even be said. You don't have to like what they're doing. The law is the law and they're doing their job. You wouldn't stop a police officer if they were chasing down a mugger, right? You wouldn't be stopping anybody if that's doing an act of crime. But the thing is people being in the country illegally is actively being a crime. Every day that they're here illegally is a crime. Just because they're not committing a violent act doesn't mean that that person isn't committing a crime. Or else, then if that's the case, then we should just drop the whole Trump's a felon for 34 counts of a misplaced or miswritten paper crime. Hey guys, we'll just take a moment. I promise it'll be quick. Now, if you guys haven't checked it out already, we have Domino Effect Apparel. That is our merch. We've got the shirts, we've got the hoodies, we've got the hats, and a lot more. So if you just pay attention to this screen right here, we do have our bucket hats, normal hats, drawstring bags, lighters, tumblers, hoodies, and much more. New designs coming out all the time. Now, if you just go ahead and see how you can support the channel, we don't need your gifts. I would like you to have something in return. So please go check it out. It's in the link tree in the profile, Domino Effect Apparel. Now, right back to the video. Another thing I wanted to show you as well is what the father of Renee Good had to say about this whole thing. And this might kind of surprise you if you haven't seen this already. All right, let me go ahead and show you real quick. It's going to be bam. Okay, so I found this. It was from CNN. Tries to force condemnation of ICE. Renee Good's former father-in-law shuts it down.
Up front now, Renee Good's former father-in-law, Timmy Macklin, and he is the grandfather of Good's 6-year-old son, that little boy. And Timmy, we're really appreciative that you are willing to speak out. And I know you want to talk about Renee. Your son was married to her before he died in 2023. And now there has been this horrible tragedy for Renee, and of course your grandson now has lost both his biological parents. You just heard the president speak about your former daughter-in-law. What's your reaction?
Well, I'm a Trump supporter also, and Renee was an amazing person. I mean, she full of life, full of joy. I mean, real gentle, a good mother. I just think, we make bad choices, and that's the problem. There's so much chaos in the whole world today, and that's why the Bible says, if my people would humble themselves and seek his face and pray and turn from our wicked ways, God will hear from heaven and forgive our sins and heal our lands. And that's what we need to do. We need to turn to God and walk in the Spirit of God, and and let him lead us and guide us.
So we have some new.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I am.
She's like, wait, oh, this is falling apart fast. This is the dad. I thought he was gonna be on our side. Sorry, CNN. Not everybody that is going to be on your show is a Democrat or a leftist. And he's a Trump supporter and a man of faith.
Sorry for your loss, because for your loss for you, it's your grandson who will suffer so greatly, and you have suffered the loss of your own son so tragically as well, her former husband. Your grandson's 6 years old. Have you been able to see him or talk to him since all of this has happened?
Not since it's happened. I've been blessed to see him, 2 or 3 times a year. He's an amazing young child. I mean, he's amazing. He's really smart, and so I look forward to seeing him when I can.
I want to ask you about this. When you talk about the confusion, and you've been open, obviously, about your support for the president, when you look at the videos of what happened, and I'm sure they're very hard for you, Timmy, to watch if you've even been able to, but the Deputy Attorney General says that the Justice Department doesn't believe that there's evidence to back a criminal investigation, right? And nothing about charges or anything like that, just an investigation into what happened in terms of the ICE agents' actions. But they were, according to the prosecutors resigning today, pressuring them to investigate Renee's actions and Becca, her wife's actions. How do you feel about all that?
Well, I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, it's a hard situation all the way around. It's hard for for everybody involved. I mean, the ICE agent, at first I didn't see the footage where, he was actually, he was actually being ran. I mean, I seen the bump of the car hitting his legs. And so in a flash like that, it's hard to say how you would react. From my understanding that he had been through that before, maybe dragged or something. And so, like I said, it's just a hard situation for everybody. Becca, she's a great person as well. I mean, I don't have any many enemies. I love everybody, and that's what the Bible tells us: love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But I think there's some bad choices, and the word says, "For the wrath of God will come upon the children of disobedience." And it's I don't blame ICE, I don't blame Rebecca, I don't blame Renee. I just wish that if we're walking the Spirit of God, I don't think she would have been there. That's the way I look at it.
So when
the father-in-law, I think I said father earlier, I meant father-in-law. The father-in-law said if you were to walk in the grace of God, she wouldn't have been there to begin with. This story fell apart. Next. And just to show a little bit of what has been going on, especially as last night, as I had put in my short earlier today, this is a little bit, I'm going to skip kind of through this because I don't want to put a whole 7 minutes in here of a video. We'll break it down just a little bit. But this is what happened last night, and Donald Trump is pushing for an insurrection act. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll take the rims off that motherfucker. Okay. Let's move ahead. Vandalism, yeah. Upstanding citizens. Their mother must be proud. Oh wait, she's probably there with him. Breaking into a lockbox of a agent's car. Look at all these people. Stealing stuff out of the motor or the front engine bay. Destroyed a laptop. Or no, that's a folder.
Huh. Out of line! Ooh, don't touch that with your bare hands. Oh, shit.
Wait, listen to that again. Let me turn up the volume. Listen to this.
Ooh, don't touch that with your bare hands. Oh, shit. Fuck, that was dumb.
Where'd you touch it? Where'd you touch it?
I thought the whole, I think it was
Throw it in
bleak.
the sewer, some shit. Get rid of that shit. Hey, don't leave it in there. You already touched it already. Throw it in the sewer.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh man, I touched it with my bare hand. Now they're gonna have my prints. Throw it in the sewer. Yeah, get rid of it. You don't want to. They're gonna catch you. Let's break the law and let me teach you how to break the law further. Oh my god, yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So Renee Good, she was tied to ICE monitoring efforts in Minneapolis. She was part of a neighborhood watch. Apparently that's a thing that they do. They have neighborhood watches. I read a whole flyer of what people do. They meet together. They have a captain that's in charge. They give each other materials. They have little potlucks and talk about what they're going to do by monitoring where ICE agents are, dox them if they can. And this is not creating a safe environment for anybody. You're putting yourself in danger. You're putting other people in danger, and you're putting ICE agents in danger by doing this. Because you think that it's just going to be innocent, that just normal people like you and me are going to be the ones looking for these agents. No. Some of these illegal immigrants that are here have ties to cartels and gangs. And you know what will end up happening is hit pieces. And let me tell you, a lot of these ICE agents kind of want the heat, but why put them in that position? It's just ridiculous. Now, in regards to the whole debacle, there were reports that the officer that had gotten struck by Renee Good's vehicle did suffer from internal bleeding. At least that's what the DHS has reported. Now, whether or not that's completely confirmed by a medical professional or not, we do not know as of yet. But I will continue to keep you guys posted on that as well. Just make sure to hit the notification bell on this video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already to not miss the next reporting on this. And that's not just Fox, of course. You know, everybody's going to say, oh, you just looked at Fox. No, that's also on ABC as well. You can see it. It's right here. This is also on ABC News. So this came from the DHS. Now, where are a lot of these people going? Well, looks like even with everything being said and done with what the left is trying to do, there's literal busloads of illegals that were just flown out of Minneapolis by DHS on a chartered Boeing 737 being sent back to where they came from. This is despite the rioting and obstruction done by the left. DHS is not slowing down. Bon voyage! Look, all your efforts. They gone. They gone. You can destroy all the vehicles you want, and maybe it was just a setup. Who knows? Maybe it was a setup with those cars to be there so you can go and incriminate yourself. Great job. This is actually going to be for the last part. Right. So, looks like this constant push for the ICE to be removed is just appalling to me. I mean, really, it's stupid. It's stupid. something that people don't understand about ICE and the legality of it is the misinformation that's concerning them. They're like, everybody's saying, oh, you need a warrant. You need a warrant for this. You can't just raid and go and take these people down. No. You don't need a warrant. They have the ability to go and arrest anybody that they need to, that's targeted by their own intel, right? Now, the only time they need a warrant is an administrative warrant, and that's to enter a not a public space, but to enter a private space, like a residence or even a business, right? You need a warrant. That's why you'll see a lot of times that they are held up in restaurants and stuff like that, because people are protecting them, which is conspiracy for harboring, and that, my friend, is illegal. And how do I know? Well, you can use your First Amendment right to, yell in the public like, La Migra, or there's an ICE vehicle over in this street and that street. You can post on social media. You can do all that. That's totally fine. You are well within your rights to do whatever you want using your First Amendment right. However, you cannot conspiracy to harbor. You cannot use physical interference or assault or resist. That is illegal, and that is held up by the federal law 18 USC subsection 111, which prohibits assaulting or forcibly impeding officers, but this requires more than just a verbal warning. So do not touch an officer, do not get in their way or create a disturbance. Isn't that what's been going on for a while? Okay. All of this has really been spinning off since the Quality Learning Center, which I had looked up on a good old friend of ours, MapQuest, for all my 90s kids out there. Okay. Now, here, I remember I was watching one of the videos, and it was in my my previous video. If you haven't gone checked it out, go check it out. It's Domino Reacts, and saying that the business hours, it wasn't business hours, it was outside of business hours for Nick Shirley or anybody else that was investigating that area to come over there, which their hours say 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And how I know that this is the Quality Learning Center, it is Quality Learning Center, but this is the address to that exact business. You can check it yourself if you don't believe me, but that's it. That's the one in Minneapolis. Okay. It was interesting though, because I went to that website, and when you click on the website that's on the MapQuest, it brings up the Department of Human Services and all the investigations and reviews that went through. And the most recent one was on the 23rd of June, and there was quite a bit of violations. Now, I know that this is pretty standard, that you're going to have reviews, but there was a lot of not so good ones. Also, some fine orders that had to be addressed and were ignored. A lot of that's very interesting to think about, but the one that really caught my attention is the fact that they just recently closed right after the Nick Shirley incident. Right. Okay. So I wanted to look into, with all these the ICE raids and what the ICE has been doing, right? ICE baby. Well, this isn't new. I wanted to find out. I said, okay, per presidents, how many self deportations compared to enforced deportations? It only gave me the past 3. I don't even know why Biden's not on here. Maybe it's because he let them come in. I don't know. However, it says for Donald Trump on his second term, or let's start with his first term. First term, he had 805,000 people self-deport between 2017 and 2020. That's within 4 years. That's actually not a lot. 1.2 million formal removals, which means that they had ICE agents come to find them and deport them. In the second term, it was 622,000 that have been deported by ICE and had to go out and put action into this. I just realized I don't have this fully showing. My bad. Lo siento. I'm a professional, I promise.
Stupid.
Now, 1.9 million self-deportations. These people took the warning from Kristi Noem saying, hey, if you deport yourself, you will have the opportunity to come back. Do not make us come after you. That's like telling your kid, hey, don't do that. Get that out of your mouth. If you do it again, you're going to go to your room. I told you don't do that. You're going to go to your room. And then they do it anyways, and they play victim. Ah! Yeah, no, sorry. It's the same thing, man. It's principle, okay? Now, you look at Barack Obama. Dude, that's 5.2 million like removals, right? 3 million were deported by ICE. 3 million deported by ICE. 2.2 million self-deported. There's a reason why they called him the deporter-in-chief. I mean, come on. But why is it okay if he did it compared to what's going on today? I can tell you. In fact, here's what it is. It's because it's Trump. Trump derangement syndrome has been the biggest thing since sliced bread was ever put on this planet. I've never understood it. I don't even think people know why. Unless they just don't have a spine. Unless you just don't have a spine and you can't handle hard truths, that's probably why. Now, last story I wanted to go over, which is a heartbreaking story, and we'll go ahead and wrap up here. But this one, it killed me. I got to change that. All right. I'm a professional. All right. There is this individual, this monster. Absolutely disgusting. Minnesota. What's up with Minnesota, man? Minnesota daycare worker Ludemia Russell was just arrested for killing Harvey Mucklebust. That's an awesome last name. And trying to strangle another infant. And just to give some more context to it.
That time. Notably, she had only been employed with the daycare for 3 weeks at that time. Her behavior and actions at the scene immediately raised suspicion. Investigators conducted an exhaustive review of Thea's background. This revealed a documented history of attention-seeking behavior, including her making multiple 911 calls reporting nonsensical incidents and simply hanging up. Based on the totality of the evidence in this 3 months investigation, we had probable cause to believe Thea Russell intentionally suffocated these children on 3 occasions to seek attention. During the questioning, Thea confessed to intentionally suffocating the 2 children in an attention-seeking act. She provided detailed descriptions of how she carried out the attempts against the life of the first victim on 2 separate occasions. And she confessed to the murder of Harvey Mucklebust. Notably,
Absolutely disgusting, dude. I don't know. I have no words. An innocent child was unalived, and a second was almost. And it's in Minnesota again. What the hell is going on over there? I don't know. Anyways, that is gonna do it for me today as far as what we had in store for the videos. So if you did enjoy the video, please leave a comment down below. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And don't forget to put that notification bell. And remember, go check out the store, Domino Effect Apparel. Get yourself something nice. Maybe somebody's birthday. I don't know. But without further ado, be genuine, be real, and be you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!